Hi, this is your social media policy lecture. So creating your social media policy in 7 steps. There's a whole chapter in the book dedicated to this. So I'll just guide you through a brief summary of it. And I hope you enjoy it. Now, social media policy is something I'm asked for quite a bit, where companies have employees, and they're looking how should their employees use social media. They're trying to figure out when somebody comments on something in a negative way and they're maybe a client, what should the policy be, who should be responding. So it's internally focused and it's externally focused, the social media policy. So basically, just getting started on it, a social media policy is empowering when it's done properly to employees, meaning a social media policy written poorly is one that says thou shall not, thou shall not, thou shall not. So it's like nothing happens on social media. A good social media policy is one where you empower employees, where you say things like, when you see something that is posted by the company, the official company, or tweeted by the official company account, and it's something that you think would enrich your friends, if you are on Facebook, then please share it. So that's empowering. So they know that they're supposed to be sharing it, and you're encouraging them to share it. So therefore, it becomes an excellent competitive kind of weapon. What happens is your employees could be an excellent place of where you actually start getting many new followers. 78% of all new followers comes from somebody's friends. So it's not because they just like your company and they decide, hey, I'm going to go follow you on Facebook. It's because somebody who they already are friends with might like someone's page, and therefore they like the page. So it actually can become a competitive weapon if done properly. Social media policies should be an extension of your current code of conduct and marketing guidelines. So for example, right now, if you happen to have one person in your company who speaks to the press, then it's still that one person's job to speak to the press. If you have a code of conduct that your employees are not allowed to talk trash about the company, because that's something often, some of you I'm sure have already started working at certain companies, and when you start working there you have to sign a code of conduct, and it often says you will treat each other with respect, you will not steal company content, you're not going to steal intellectual property, you're going to use company equipment for company work, you're not going to use it for working on other company stuff or your personal stuff. Often you can only use the company car for company business. It's often you can't in public talk negatively about the company. So all those things extend on social media. If you're not allowed to talk nasty about and be disrespectful on your traditional type of dialogue, then you certainly are not allowed to do that on social media either. I like to keep it simple and extend current policies onto social media. So social policy, as a large number of your employees are using social media, a social media policy helps them understand their role. So sometimes you might have a few people who are actually the people that are have access to the company page, and they actually are allowed to post, or their job is to post on behalf of the company. Obviously, if you have a company of 2,000 people or 20,000 people, not everybody in that company is going to post on the company's page. It's often simply the communications department to do that. But you can, on behalf of yourself, if you're a professional in an industry, say real estate industry, you're going to definitely want to present yourself as, or an accountant or a lawyer, you want to present yourself as that profession and an expert in that profession. So you're going to talk about items that might be corporate related, But these are things that you know you're allowed to talk about. You're not going to talk about things that are privacy issues. You're not going to talk about things that you're not allowed to normally talk about. So when using when used properly, social media can turn your employees into your largest source of new fans, new followers, and you can have your employees properly share and retweet and mention your social media efforts. So if you're a company and some of your employees, they are the type that are on social media, you can't force them to be on social media, but if they're the type that are on social media, then it's great when they start sharing it. Social media policy, once created, have it signed off by your human resource and legal departments. It's that important to actually have it signed off if you're a large enough company. Because these are times, if you've seen it in the news, where somebody gets fired because of something they said on social media. You can't surprise somebody by doing that. It has to be something that they know about. So how do they know about this? Well, what happens is often when you start a new company, as soon as you start, you get a welcome package. In that welcome package is, your ID and password to get into the computer system. Sometimes there's a door code so you can get in. There's your ID and password to get into your phone system. There's also sometimes your benefit package that you're going to sign off on. And there's also code of conducts. In there should also be the social media policy, where they sign off on that, which says that they've read it, they understand, and yes, they will adhere by it. So for existing employees, what happens is, what I suggest companies do is companies should have annual reviews with their employees. So in that annual review process, what they should be doing is, if there are anything, not just the social media policy, but anything new that the employees should sign off on, it should be part of that. And then a training session should be incorporated for all employees for most effective social media use. So they know, say internally, you're encouraging them not to be on social media during the day, that it's okay if they go on it during their coffee breaks. That needs to be shared so they know. Say that you're encouraging them to not use maybe YouTube or videos from the office because you don't want to use up that bandwidth. They just need to know what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. They also need to know that when they're at home or on those breaks where they are using social media and they see something that's been tweeted or Facebooked or LinkedIn by the company, that yes, you encourage them to share it in a positive way. You should let them know what your keywords are so they're using the right keywords. So they need to have the appropriate training so that they can help grow the company. Now we're going to get into how important keywords are when we talk about growing your social media activities. So when a company is a real social company, what sometimes they do is they actually break down all of their employees so each of them have an expertise. So there'll be an employee whose department that they're in happens to be, Department X. And when the company is posting about Company X, that employee will actually make more posts. Or when that employee actually posts something, the company will share it out. So there's, it can be even very, very effective when everyone has a role in social media. Again, there should be a calendar so we know when the company is actually going to be posting on specific topics, so the employees would know to watch out for those specific topics during those times and share them out appropriately. So for a real social company, they each of their employees are trained with knowledge of what, when, how, and why they should post. So the 7 parts of the social media strategy that I've seen when I'm helping companies is identify a company's social media objectives. That's the very first thing they need to do, is what are their goals, vision, and purpose online. So as we saw in the last lecture, we talked about strategy. In there we come up with what our goals, visions, and purpose happen to be. We also, in that strategy, indicate which social media platforms are we officially going to use in this company. So in the social media policy, you need to identify what are the goals, vision, and purpose. Why are we using social media? Whether it's to grow awareness in the Toronto area for our company, or in a global area to women that are over 35. Like, what's our goal, vision, and purpose? And maybe it's to get people back to our website because we're writing a blog. We want everyone to come back to our site and click on our post, which link them back to our websites. Then what platforms are you using? So state, yeah, we're just using Twitter and Facebook, that's it. Then coordinators, identify who your official social media humans are. Who are the administrators for your company? And then if employees can be contributors, if employees know, okay, our goal and vision is to do blank, and they see material in what they do day to day that might be effective for the social media administrator to share, then it's good for the employee to know how to get their information to the official social media channel so it gets out on the social media platforms, the official ones for the company. So they need to know how to get it there. So it could simply be that they post a photo to the company page, and then the administrator decides which of those photos they share. So on Facebook, I could post a Facebook, I could go to Coca-Cola's Facebook page, post a photo there of me drinking Coke. No one will see it, period. However, if Coke decides to share it, they can only share it if there's a picture. They can't share someone's comments that have no photos or videos. So you probably don't realize that. Most people don't. But that's how Facebook works when it comes to a page, a business page. It's different on a human page. So, but these are things we'll get into on the Facebook lecture. So anyways, but the humans in the company need to know how they share that. Code of conduct, often work ethics, respect, professionalism. They need to know how they're supposed to behave on social media, which language to use. Code of conduct for social media should be the same as their traditional code of conduct. Encourage employees to become fans. You can't force them, but if employees have their own Facebook human page, their own profile, you should encourage them to become the company's, to like the company. In the old days, we called it fans. Encourage employees to share, mention, and retweet as appropriate. Again, keeping in mind the Code of Conduct principles from Step 4. Then, confidentiality and copyright. The same is the same in social media as any other communications. In any communications for the company, you can't let it leak to the press if you're working on something under non-disclosure. You can't do that on social media either. You can't go and tell the media or on the radio some personal information about employees. You can't do the same thing here on social media. So again, they need to understand that. And finally, something that sometimes you might not think of, the company needs to let the employees know that the company is listening online for their company name. So if they happen to see an employee who violates any of the company's code of conduct, the company could very well take steps similar to if an employee violated any traditional code of conduct behavior. So they can have a company, they can sue somebody for slander or whatever and fire them. So that's the 7 steps for social media. This used to be a really great social media policy, but it's not on this link anymore. So I don't know if you can find it, great. You can post it on the discussion board, but it's not there anymore. I think I have it in the book, actually. Yeah, I do. In the book, it's actually printed out, the actual social media policy for this, but it's not at this link. I just checked it. But it basically had these 7 steps in it. It was great. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this lecture.